I'm going to start talking to you about, you know, I, let me just start off by saying I was going to tell you about, how I went through this whole trial and tribulation with my aunts over hen pawing my mom and chastising us for not doing enough. But they didn't really do that. I mean, they had their modes and they went into the moods. It's just one aunt that usually does it of the three, but she didn't do that very much to really make any sort of stink. So it was interesting because they left like a few hours ago and they came early and I was just about to run into the shower to get changed and ready for them to get there. So I was like out up in my gym workout clothes for as long as they were there, and then I just came back from the shower and I changed up. And as I was in the shower I was thinking, that was a gift that they didn't drive me crazy. And then I got to thinking about the various gifts I got. Not presents or anything, but gifts like from my dad I got my sense of humor and his just ability to have anybody and everybody just come up and talk to him. Like we can go anywhere and people will just come up and want to talk to him. I remember when he retired and they had a retirement party, the nice things they said about him, and it wasn't like they had to. I mean, there were people that came from any and everywhere just to see him off. And I was really, really surprised, and he was touched by it. From my mom, I learned, you know, to be quiet and dignified. And I learned kind of her patience, but I learned also that there were times to not be patient. So, from my one aunt, who is the youngest of the three, who is the quiet one, honestly, I learned that there were times where you just gotta shut up and sit back. From my second aunt, who is the middle aunt, she can be a fighter, and she could be opinionated, stubborn, but she will stand her ground. So from her I learned how to stand my ground, because I know my mom sometimes says, you're stubborn just like your aunt. So whatever. But that runs in the family. But the one thing I learned from the whole family is the hardest work ethic ever. I mean, they will work and work. And it doesn't mean like, I'm going to work, I'm trudging around. They'll just keep working just because. They'll work like they breathe. It's just something to do. Because my dad was at his job. Well, my dad too. He worked at his job for about 40-something years. Mom's been working at her job for almost 20 plus years. They just want to work there, and they just work there, and they know their stuff just like that. So, and I inherited that work ethic where if I'm working on a play, I can work forever. Notice I've been in my play for like 2-3 years, and I have no intention of quitting because I like it there. From my dear friends, all of them, I just learned how to have a heart. And sometimes I learned how to skim and how to keep those that are worth keeping and not keep those that aren't. And I learned what I wanted in a friend and what I wanted to be in a friend. From my best friend, we both give each other advice constantly. I am her doctor and she is my doctor. Like sometimes she'll ask me questions about her clothes and stuff, and I'll just tell her, no, that's not a good color because of blah blah blah. or no, that's not a good shape or fit because of blah, blah, blah. And we do vice versa on just about any and everything. We don't like talk about everything. We do have our private moments, our TMI moments. But that's what I learned from her, from my cousins. I learned how to really just like laugh, because they were generally funny people, and not in the sense like, ooh, they are just deep inside. We learned that we all should be happy. We taught each other that we should just be happy and pursue that, but not in the stupid, dangerous way. From my guy, I learned, that it's more than just your look or what you do. It's who you are. Like, no matter whatever happens between us, and I'm not even saying it, I just know that he's a good man. And he makes me a better woman in the sense that I will not lessen myself. I won't be that type of girl that's like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Why are you doing? Or when I get like that, he'll remind me. It's like, come on. And, I won't be that type of girl that I used to tell my guy friends, run away from. Or when I am being like that, he'll warn me. That's my brother. From my brother, that's where I learned my patience from. Because, throughout his whole life, nothing happened like that. It took time. He had to learn. He had to develop. And from that I learned that, just be patient. And if you give him that patience, it's a beautiful thing, honestly. That's all he really wants. That's what I learned from my guy, simplicity. In general, everybody taught me simplicity. Very basic simplicity stuff. But before I end everything, because I think I've gone through just about a lot. From my cat I learned how to spoil, but we'll let that part go. The one last person I forgot to talk about is not here anymore. It's my dear, dear, dear grandma. From her, I learned how to love God. Now, I'm not super religious or anything. My relationship with God is mine, and it's in here, and I don't need a church for it. I just need to be able to talk to him whenever I need to. But the fact that a God, or my God, felt me worthy to be my grandmother's granddaughter. How can you not love a God? To bring that woman into my life like he did. I'm not going to cry, so stop it. I think about that every once in a while, and it's just, I wish you guys could have met her. I wish I could have brought her to you, and she was the best in the sense that she had a very good soul. I would think that, honestly, she was one of the many angels that came onto earth. And we just didn't know it. Plus a friend of mine who I talked about a while ago, his name was Takis. That's what we call him, Takis. And he died. He was hit by a drunk driver in his car. But I always remembered him because he always smiled. Always, always had a smile on his face. Never got upset. I never knew him to be upset, annoyed, or anything. Always had a smile on his face. So, thank you for all the angels. And my Aunt Iris and my grandfather and all my relatives. Thank you. Also, I wanted to thank you guys, because thanks for coming with me. Thanks for walking with me. Thanks for watching. I know we're not a big crowd and a big, 30 million plus or 30,000 plus subscribers. I've got 19. Thank you. Hey, our small little group, like my best friend said, and that's why it is what it is. So, those are my gifts. You guys are my gifts. This show is my gift. That's my life. My life now, my life, whatever happened to me in my past, it's my gift. Because from that, I didn't dwell into depression or anything. I'm living. I'm walking. I'm skinnier. Well, smaller. I'm not skinnier. I would never use that word about me. And to everyone, to all of you, thank you. Think about your gifts. You never know. Night.